Psalm 55 says, cast your burdens on the Lord. Release the weight of them, and He will sustain you. How many weights are you carrying around? The weight of worry, the weight of what you don't understand, the weight of how am I going to make it through this tough season? There's something you have to do. God is not going to take the burden away. You have to release the worry, release the frustration, release having to figure it out. If you'll release control, then you can enjoy your life while you're waiting for things to change. What's upsetting you? What's keeping you awake at night? God is saying, release it to me. I'm in control. I'm ordering your steps. I'm working behind the scenes. It may not be good, but I'm going to turn it for your good. The scripture says, those who have believed enter into rest. Once you've believed, you don't have to figure everything out. You may not see anything changing. You'll be tempted to worry. Stay at rest. When you're at rest, you're showing God that you trust Him. God puts promises and dreams in all of our hearts. We know we're going to get well. We know our business is going to succeed. We know we're going to meet the right person. But God doesn't tell us how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. And too often, if it's not happening the way we thought or on our timetable, we get frustrated. We put God in a box and tell Him how to do it, when it should happen, and who to use. If it's not working out the way we think, we can get discouraged. But once you pray, once you believe, you have to leave how God does it and when He does it up to Him. If you put a time frame on it and a method of how it's going to happen, you're going to be frustrated because God's ways are not our ways. He's working when we can't see it. Sometimes it's taking longer because He has something better in store. One of the best things I've learned is to trust God's timing and trust His ways. What God promised will come to pass, but it may not happen the way you think, may not be when you had planned. If you're trying to control the outcome and control the time frame, you're going to live worried. You have to release control. Release having to have it happen your way. God already has it figured out. He knows the end from the beginning. But here's the key. He doesn't give us the details. You can't trust God and be worried at the same time. When you're at rest, you know God's in control. You know all things are going to work for your good. You know what He started, He's going to finish. Release the worry. Release the frustration. Release having to know all the details. But when you can say, God, this is what I want, but even if it doesn't work out my way, I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to give you praise. That takes away the power of the enemy. Hold tightly to your dreams, but hold loosely to how God is going to do it. God knows how to bring promises to pass, but you have to stay open to how it's going to happen. If you're set in having it one way, you can be frustrated. God does things out of the ordinary, unusual. He may not bring your dream to pass a traditional way. It hasn't happened yet because God's going to do something better than you think. The delay, the disappointment, the setback, it's not working against you, it's working for you. Release control of how it's going to happen. God is about to do unusual things, out of the ordinary, unprecedented. You're not falling behind. You're about to receive a phone call, a good break, a promotion. Your health suddenly turns around. I've learned God doesn't always take us down a straight path. There will be detours, delays, curves, these times when you feel like you're going the wrong way. The way you think it's going to happen may not be the way God's going to do it. What you can't see is on that path that's going the wrong way, there's another turn. It leads to a shortcut that will catapult you ahead. The scripture talks about how there is a set time for God to favor you, a set time to heal you, a set time to turn the problem around. If there's a right time, that means there's a wrong time. If it hasn't happened yet, then it wasn't meant to be. Instead of fighting where you are, why don't you embrace where you are? Imagine if Joseph had not learned how to release control. God gave him a dream as a teenager that he would be in leadership, that people would bow down before him? What if he had a preconceived idea of how it was going to happen? Surely someone is going to show up at my house like they did for David and anoint me king, pick me out of a lineup, show me favor, and I'll step into leadership. But God does things unusual ways. He uses adversities, bad breaks, disappointments to move us into our destiny. That closed door, the delay, it's instrumental in you reaching your purpose. This is your chance to say like Joseph, God, I trust you even when I don't understand it. I'm going to keep being my best even when it's not fair. I'm going to keep giving you praise when I could be complaining. I'm going to keep moving forward when I feel like going backwards. When we face hardships, the bad breaks, the disappointments, it seems like the enemy is in control. That's when we want to fight, resist, get upset, live worried. God is saying, don't resist anymore. Don't fight it. Don't live bitter. Don't try to get even. Trust me, I'm in control. I'm still directing your steps. Yes, resist the sickness, resist the addiction, but you shouldn't fight everything that comes your way. You have to be mature enough to know when to resist and when not to resist. You're not supposed to fight every battle. God uses betrayals, closed doors, disappointments to move you into your purpose. Acts 27, Paul was a prisoner on a ship sailing toward Rome. An angel appeared to him and said he was going to stand before Caesar. On the journey, they encountered a huge storm with hurricane force winds. For 14 days, they didn't see the sun nor the stars. They tried their best to steer the ship, to try to keep some kind of control, but the winds were too much. Instead of fighting it, trying to force where they wanted it to go, the scripture says they took down the sails and let the wind blow the ship wherever the storm wanted it to go. When you've done everything you can, you prayed, you believed, you stood in faith, there comes a time where you have to do like them. Quit fighting it, quit trying to force it to work out, quit losing sleep, and release control. God will not take you someplace where He won't sustain you. How do you release control? Quit worrying about it. Quit losing sleep. Quit trying to make it happen your way. Say, God, I trust you. I know you're in control of these winds. They can blow me forward, backward, left, right. But one thing I'm certain of, where you take me is exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's what the scripture says. What's meant for your harm, God will turn to your advantage. Are you trying to control everything? Upset because it's not happening your way? Trying to force it? Why don't you take down the sails and trust what God is doing? You may not understand it now. It may not make sense yet, but one day you'll see it was a necessary step to reach your destiny. Don't fight everything, worried, why did this happen? God knows what He's doing. He has you in the palm of His hand. He may not do it the way you had planned, but where He's taking you is better than you've imagined. God is saying, don't resist anymore. Don't fight it. Don't live bitter. Don't try to get even. Trust me, I'm in control.